This is the fan camp in Doha. Argentina fans flooding it, of course. Great numbers of support. Let's run through some penalty shootouts stats, Jamie, and see how significant you think they are. Against Yugoslavia in the quarter-final in 1990, of course, they went on to lose to West Germany in the final in 1990. Argentina, they beat Italy in the semi-finals on penalties in 1990. They beat England in the round of 16 in 1998 in San Etienne. Remember the heartache. Lost versus Germany in the quarter-finals of 2006. Won versus the Netherlands in the semi-final of 2014. Lost to Germany in the final that year. They beat the Netherlands in the quarter-final this time around. France, in contrast, lost to Germany in the semi-final stage at 82. Beat Brazil in the quarters in 86. Beat Italy in the quarter-final in 98 on penalties en route to winning it in their home tournament, and lost versus Italy in that infamous Zinedine Zidane final of 2006. Does that history matter? It's mixed for both sides?
No. I mean, these players are not thinking about history right now. You know, all they're thinking about is pick your spot, keep your nerve, and try and keep yourself together. Because I tell you, I've took that walk in a cup final, and it is the longest walk. It's like walking in quicksand. And yeah, it's just about getting the lead out of your boots and having the nerve to hold your nerve, step up, commit to it, pick your spot, and hopefully you can tuck it away. The keepers have got nothing to lose here. Lloris, Martinez, one of them's going to be the hero.
Well, Messi and Lloris are now having a coin toss to the side, presumably.
See what end,
what do you want to do? You want to go first in a penalty shootout?
Yeah, you want to go first, yeah. Yeah, I think they've got the Argentina end. So it's at the Argentina end, and now they're going to toss the coin again to see who takes the first penalty. This is quite significant. This does matter.
So Lloris has won that toss.
Lloris won the toss. I'm not sure I couldn't hear what he said for who takes first. I would want to take the first penalty. You want to get the goal. You know, you want to get that one on target first and get your goal away. So if I was Lloris, I would have chose France to take the first penalty. So we will see what happens and who steps up first. But yeah, I mean, it's going to be at the Argentina fans' end.
How difficult for Kylian Mbappe to take a third penalty against Emi Martinez?
Yeah, I mean, of course, he's took two. He went left both times. Martinez went that way in the first one. He got a hand to it, and then he went the other way, and he sent him the wrong way. So now it's the third penalty. Let's see what happens.
Down the middle? Where's the best place to put it when you
over the bar? Like, hopefully, so Messi can win the World Cup. I mean, look, hopefully
Mbappe's going to take the first penalty.
Kylian Mbappe is taking the first penalty. So this is the third penalty that he's going to be taking in a World Cup final. Martinez got to one of them. Big puff of the cheeks from Mbappe.
You were saying his penalty prowess is
I'd go down the middle. He steps up. Oh, and he scores. He puts it in the top. He puts it in the top left. And Martinez actually gets a really good arm to it.
Yeah.
There's two he's got to.
It's a good dive, isn't it, with his left hand at the top.
You know what? It's just the pace and the power gets it in. It wasn't a great penalty. Messi now is stepping up for Argentina. So, as I said, your two best penalty takers step up. Can Messi hold his nerve?
After we've done, I mean, how impressive has his performance been from Messi today? A penalty and a goal in open play.
I mean, he's been unbelievable. Look, he's been unbelievable. In the first half, he was a joy to watch. Found it hard in the second half. But then in extra time, he steps up and creates another moment. Now he's got to do it again. He steps up against Lloris. The referee blows his whistle. Messi steps up and scores. Oh, it's a cheeky goal. I mean, he just stands Lloris up, doesn't even look at the ball. Lloris goes one way and he just rolls it into the other corner. It's like a tap. It's like a tap-in.
He's arguably the greatest player of all time.
It's actually ridiculous how you can step up in a World Cup final like that and just roll in a penalty like you're playing against your kids.
But for all the time he's played for Argentina and even in club football, have you seen him more relaxed than this? He seems to have just been personification of composure, doesn't he?
I mean, he's just got so much composure. He's got so much class. Got so much confidence in his ability. Kingsley Coman now steps up to take the second penalty for France.
He's changed the game.
Can he score? Oh, Martinez saves it! He saves it, Kingsley Coman. He goes.
There's an Argentinian in the back here.
It sounds like an Argentinian we've got here.
Well, that was yes, not see, but yeah.
This is the moment that Martinez has been waiting for. We know he loves penalty shootouts. Kingsley Coman tries to go down to his left. Martinez goes the right way. It's a comfortable save for him.
It's a long way across by the time the penalty gets there, isn't he?
Yeah.
Right inside the post.
Martinez loves these moments. He's made for these moments.
The Argentinian fans, and suddenly you think the pendulum swung your way, don't you, at this moment?
Oh, I couldn't. If England were in a World Cup final now and taking penalties, I don't think I could watch. I mean, I'm struggling to watch, and I'm English.
An Englishman rooting on Argentina.
Argentina step up. Oh my! He's tucked it down the middle. I mean, he's rolled it down the middle. It's not a good penalty. Lloris goes early. Yeah. If Lloris doesn't go early, he picks it up. But Lloris has gone so early. So,
it's a substitute there, is it? Yeah.
Yeah. Is it? Sorry, it's Dybala. Yeah, it's Paulo Dybala has come on. Can't even remember.
That's a lot of pressure.
Can't even remember when
how pressurised is that situation? We saw it with England in the Euros final, didn't we? To come on as a substitute and then take a pen.
Yeah, it's massive pressure, and it wasn't a great penalty, by the way. It was actually a terrible penalty. He's just rolled it down the middle, and
Lloris just watch his feet go past.
Lloris just goes early, and it just goes down the middle. But now look, let's see Martinez. Look, he's made for these moments. You can see his chest is out.
Is he chatting there? Is he having a
chatting?
word?
He's given a bit of stick to Tchouaméni, I think it is.
How do you think Tchouaméni played today? Was this going to play?
He's been okay. He hasn't had one of his best games. He's done all right. Steps up and he's been good in the tournament. He steps up for France's third penalty and he put it wide. France are going. Oh my God, they've thrown it away. Didier Deschamps is gutted. He's got his head in his hands. Tchouaméni's put it wide from the spot. A really poor penalty. Martinez goes the right way anyway. Saves this. Yeah. Martinez in penalty shootouts is ridiculously good. He gets in red. He's dancing. Martinez.
He's not going early, but he's getting nearly to the post. By the time he dives.
Look, he's so good at penalty shootout. He's so good at penalty saves.
That spring, is it? That should push off.
He just seems to get in your head, and he waits for the last moment to dive because he can back himself to get the spring to get there. Now we step up. Argentina's massive penalty. This. Oh, he scores!
For Argentina.
Paredes scores.
Another substitute scoring.
Another substitute. Wow.
And it's nice for him in a way, wasn't it? Because he was dropped for Di Maria, who made all the difference. But the fact that he can play a part in it, because he didn't do anything wrong in the second.
Yeah, look, he's had a great tournament. For me, Lloris, he's not. I watched Lloris for Tottenham quite a lot, and he's not great at penalties. He's not great at penalties. You know,
was he leaving it too late to go, or what's your assessment?
He goes early, and I don't feel like he's got strong hands. You know, like when he gets down, like that save there is not a great penalty. I think Martinez saves that. It wasn't a great penalty, but Paredes he hits it low. Lloris goes the right way, but it's a soft arm, so and it goes in.
They need to score this one, don't they? Really?
They have to score. They have to score to stay in it.
And who do you send out if you're France? Because you've got Kylian Mbappe who scored the
goal. Well, it's Mawani. Carlos Mawani must score to stay in it, and he rifles it down the middle and scores.
Is that a good pen to take? Sometimes we saw Lineker against Cameroon in 1990, the second penalty he took.
Yeah, I mean, of course, yeah. Just you never go. You can't go wrong with. It's an option, isn't it?
Because he's seen Martinez.
The keeper can go. It's 50-50 for the keeper. They'll go left or go right. You've got three options. Do you go left? Do you go right? You stay down the middle. The keeper rarely stays.
It takes quite a lot of bravery for a goalkeeper to stay.
Yeah, sometimes the keeper will go right. I'll try and suss you out here, and I'll stand and wait. Right, this is the goal to win it. This is the goal to win the World Cup for Argentina. I'm trying to see what number it is. As soon as I see the number, I'll give you the name. Who is it?
Yeah, trying to see. The referee's in the way at the moment, isn't it? It's
number 4. He scored! Argentina won the World Cup final! Montiel, who gives the penalty away in the dying moments, has won the World Cup for Argentina. Lionel Messi has done it. Wow!
What have you witnessed? To summarise this, in the pantheon of football games, where does this rate?
I have witnessed the best World Cup final I've ever seen in my life. We are witnessing history. We are witnessing history in the making. This will be talked about forever in the game. An unbelievable World Cup final, and Argentina and Lionel Messi have got it done. I mean, Mbappe's tried his hardest. He scored 3 goals to try and keep him in it. An unbelievable performance from him. Yeah. But Argentina have prevailed, and it is absolute pandemonium.
Gonzalo Montiel scores the winning penalty, 4-2. Argentina scored all 4 of them, but Lionel Messi set him on the way in the shootout, scoring 2 goals in the match itself as well. Does this settle the debate? Is Lionel Messi the
Lionel Messi is now the greatest player to ever play the game. in my opinion. The performance that he's put on in that World Cup final, the performance that he's put on throughout this tournament, to step up and score again in a penalty shootout, he is the greatest player to ever play the game. He is now that man.
And how even more impressive to do it at the age of 35, to manage himself, to be so influential, to score 7 goals in a World Cup, to now have 13 World Cup goals for his country.
I mean, it's unbelievable. I'm actually getting emotional sat here watching. I'm not even an Argentinian fan, but just as a player, to see that moment for him. They're all crying on the pitch. They're crying their eyes out. Everyone's hugging Messi. They know how massive that is for him as a person, how big it is for the nation. And Mbappe's absolutely devastated, but he's won 1 World Cup. Messi deserves this. Messi deserves this World Cup for what he's given us for all these years. An unbelievable player. And it was just written in the stars. The moment was written in the stars. And Mbappe tried his hardest to stop it from happening.
Yeah, a hat-trick. First hat-trick in a World Cup final since Sir Geoff Hurst in 1966. I mean, the second man to do that. He scores a penalty as well.
How do you think he feels? First hat-trick in a World Cup final. And you still lose. I mean, unbelievable. That is what resolve they've shown Argentina to get it done.
Lionel Messi then, now 10 La Liga titles. He's won a Ligue 1 title. He's won 4 Champions League. He's won 7 Ballon d'Ors. But now the World Cup. Does this just reflect, the importance we put upon it? Because people have questioned whether he loved this country. For a boy from Rosario, left to Barcelona at 13. Does this prove it unequivocally?
Of course he loves his country. Look at him. Look at the way he's played. Of course he does. He come over to Spain to go and play for Barcelona. You know, you can't fault him for that. He's been one of the greatest players. He is the greatest player to ever play the game. We have watched history today. Probably the best World Cup final I've ever seen. Probably some of the best moments we're ever likely to witness. Goals in extra time. And Mbappe scoring, coming back from 2-0 down. And then finally, Lionel Messi gets the World Cup over the line for him. They're hugging him. They're crying. I mean, what a moment. One of the best. That is one of the best things I've ever watched.
Talk about the brotherhood there with Argentina, the camaraderie. They come in with that long unbeaten run that you mentioned. Then they lose to Saudi Arabia, but they rally around. How important has been the team chemistry, the team tactics to support Messi, to do his running, to allow him this platform? Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, look, they come into the tournament, 35 games, I think, unbeaten. Didn't start the tournament well. And then Alvarez obviously come to the fore. All of a sudden got a little bit of a relationship with Lionel Messi, grew into the tournament. Argentina all of a sudden grew into the tournament. Once they got into the knockout stages, they kind of come alive. Messi could sense the moment. I think that the Argentinian fans have been absolutely amazing. They haven't stopped singing. They've made this World Cup special. And I think as the tournament grew on, Messi kind of just all of a sudden got that confidence, got that feeling. When they saw Brazil get knocked out, they're thinking, wow, you know, we haven't got to play Brazil in a semi-final to make it. You know, they've almost got it's an easier game for them, really, to try and, you know, to play Croatia. And they sensed the moment and they've took it.
How important for the World Cup is it for a non-European side to win it for the first time since 2002? Does it give extra kudos and vindication to the tournament that it's not just European nations dominating?
Yeah, of course. I mean, look, we look at Brazil and Argentina and, you know, we love watching them play. We love seeing what they're about. We don't watch them all the time because, you know, they play in the South American football and we don't stay on top of it as much. We see France play. We have the Nations League, so we're watching them. And then it comes to a World Cup and all of a sudden you've got, you know, the big South American sides in Brazil and Argentina, and they always go in as one of the favourites. And, you know, I thought Brazil would win it. They were my favourites at the start of the tournament. But you can't write off Lionel Messi. It was written in the stars. It's written in the stars, that moment for him. You can't write that career. You can't write what we've just seen today. The fact that that's his last World Cup match and the last thing that he does is score a penalty to win the World Cup for Argentina. It's incredible.
And how formative could this be for Kylian Mbappe? He turns 24 in 2 days' time. He's already won a World Cup 4 years ago in Russia. Do you expect this to be something that he rebounds from in a way, despite obviously he's played incredibly today, but that he kind of forges character from this?
Listen, he's won a World Cup, so it's not like he's not searching for it. He's won one. And his performance in the last 15 minutes and in an extra time was sensational. He come alive. He is now going to take over from Lionel Messi as being the best player on the planet. When Messi retires, it's going to be Mbappe that we're all watching and we'll be loving his brilliance. We're already, you know, seeing his brilliance and what he's doing in major tournaments and how good he is. But this was Messi's moment. This was Messi's moment. And everyone who loves football, who loves watching the brilliance and the genius that we've had over the last, 10, 15 years of Messi, wanted this moment for him. You know, unlucky to France.
Won the Copa America last year as well. Yeah.
And he won the Copa America, which is massive. We don't appreciate how big that tournament is because we think it's all about the Euros. But the Copa America to them is one of the biggest tournaments to win. Is the second biggest tournament you can win. So he's won that and then gone and won a World Cup. Wow. Incredible for Messi.
98 goals for his country.
If I was him now, I'd walk off the pitch, I'd hang my boots up and say, thanks for coming.
Jamie, you've been brilliant for an exhausting couple of hours or so. Let's go live, though, to the venue outside the Lusail Stadium. Our chief reporter, Kaveh Solokol, has run out from there. Kaveh, you've covered this team for a while throughout the tournament. You're a student, no doubt, of the history of football. Where does this stand in significant moments? Is it the crowning of the greatest of all time? What are the media feeling in and around that stadium today?
Well, I've got to tell you, it was an absolute pleasure, a privilege to be inside the stadium behind me to watch this game, because quite simply, it was one of the greatest football games of all time and arguably the greatest World Cup final of all time. The only problem I've got is I'm out here speaking to you while Lionel Messi is inside the stadium behind me. I think he's going to lift the World Cup any second now, but of course I've got to do my job and come and speak to you. But look, an absolute privilege to be inside that stadium. I've got to tell you, two brilliant teams, two incredible players, Kylian Mbappe, Lionel Messi. It ended up being Mbappe 3, Messi 2. But of course, Di Maria scored as well. And Argentina were absolutely clinical when it came to the penalty shootout. And I think the difference was this, from where I was sitting, is that Messi produced for 120 minutes. He produced in the first half, the second half, throughout extra time as well. Whereas Mbappe was very, very quiet in the first half. He only came to life late in the second half when he switched from playing out wide to playing through the middle, and when Angel Di Maria had been substituted. But an incredible game, so much drama. I've got about 5 pages of notes that I've made about everything that was going on and all the goal scorers. But look, you said it before you came to me. This will be remembered as Lionel Messi's crowning glory. And all those people who say he's not the greatest of all time because he hasn't won the World Cup. Maradona won it, Pele won it. Well, Messi and all his supporters can turn round and say he proved you wrong. He won 12 league titles, he won 4 Champions Leagues, he won 7 Ballon d'Ors, he was Argentinian Player of the Year 14 times, he won the Copa America, and to cap it all, he won the World Cup as well.
Previously as well, hadn't he, Kaveh Solokol? He made his debut in 2005. There was a tense relationship at times with the Argentinian support. How much credit does Lionel Scaloni do for not only integrating Messi back in and getting the best out of him, but also getting a team around him that worked so hard and showed so much resolve in that final today after being pegged back on a couple of occasions?
Look, he's an absolutely incredible individual, an incredible manager. Some Argentina fans were unhappy when he first got the job 4 years ago because I think he hadn't really managed at all. He'd been an assistant manager at Sevilla, he'd been the manager of the Argentina under-21s, but just look at what he's done. He's won the Copa America and he's won the World Cup a year later as well. And I thought he got his tactics absolutely right this evening, because when the team sheet came out, a lot of people were thinking, why is Angel Di Maria playing instead of Leandro Paredes? And it became obvious straight away because Argentina had targeted Jules Koundé. Now, Jules Koundé is a very, very good centre-back, but he's a makeshift right-back for France. And I think Argentina decided that is where we're going to attack France. We're going to use Angel Di Maria. That is going to be the diagonal ball that we play the whole time. And while Angel Di Maria was on the pitch, Argentina were totally dominant. I think France didn't even get into Argentina's penalty area. They didn't have a single touch in Argentina's penalty area for the whole of the first half. So Scaloni got his tactics absolutely right. It was a masterclass from the manager. And I've got to say, he is such a humble person. He is so level-headed. And he's also very, very emotional. We've seen him quite a few occasions at this World Cup crying at the end of games. He's somebody who wears his heart on his sleeve. And he's been under a lot of pressure as well, not just because he had to help deliver the World Cup for Lionel Messi, but he had to help deliver the World Cup Cup for the whole of Argentina. We were speaking to him yesterday. He said Argentinians are the best supporters in the world. And if you were inside that stadium tonight, you would have seen just why. About 90% of the people inside that ground were Argentina supporters. And just to think how far Argentina is away from here, how many flights you've got to take to get to Qatar. You're talking about 19 hours on a plane, the amount of money these supporters have had to spend. And quite a lot of them didn't even have tickets. They've been outside, they've been in the centre of Doha watching the game on TV because they just had to be here to watch Lionel Messi and Argentina win the World Cup.
They've come a long way. They're expecting a big performance from their side today. In the media, Carve, you'll know we build up to these moments and we get accused sometimes of hyping them up when they don't deliver. How much did both sets of players deliver? How much did the two star men deliver? And how rare is this? You said at the start of your report there that this felt like one of the greatest games of football ever, and that doesn't seem like hyperbole right now. What have we witnessed in terms of people delivering in the biggest of moments?
Look, we were talking, journalists before the game, what kind of game it was going to be. Some of us thought it could be a very tactical game. Maybe Scaloni will decide to play with 5 at the back. Maybe he will have a special plan to deal with Mbappe. How are France going to deal with Messi? Could it be a sterile tactical game? We've seen that so many times before in finals. Could it be goalless? But look, we forgot about the fact that Messi was on the pitch, Mbappe was on the pitch. But I think the difference was Messi showed up for the whole game. Mbappe only showed up in the second half. And I've got to say, an incredible achievement by Kylian Mbappe to score a hat-trick in a World Cup final. What kind of player do you have to be to do that, especially when he was totally anonymous in the first half? And he scored his penalty in the penalty shootout as well. We were talking how difficult it is for Harry Kane psychologically to have to take 2 penalties in the World Cup in a quarter-final. Well, Kylian Mbappe made it look easy, taking 3 in a World Cup final. So I know we were talking a lot, everyone was talking before the game, Messi versus Mbappe, Messi versus Mbappe. The managers were telling us, no, forget about that. It's not about 2 players, 2 brilliant all-time great players. It's about 2 teams. But ultimately, this evening did end up being about 2 players. And at the end, it ended up being 1 player. It ended up being about Lionel Messi. And look, you just look at the record books. I'm one of those people, I've been around a lot longer than some other people. When I was growing up, it was Maradona. Before that, it was Pele. Older people still talk about Di Stefano as well. Then there's Johan Cruyff, there's George Best, there's Cristiano Ronaldo. What is he thinking this evening? I forgot even to mention Ronaldo as well.
But how contrasting the emotions.
Even somebody of my age has to now say that Lionel Messi is the greatest of all time. Probably.
Well, but the narrative is contrasting there. People will say Cristiano Ronaldo is a little bit older than Lionel Messi. Perhaps that's why he's faded before Messi. You may expect that with his age gap. But it's been a narrative of this tournament, hasn't it? The troubles that Ronaldo have had set against Messi finding this realisation and this moment of truth with Argentina.
Look, and it hasn't been plain sailing for Lionel Messi at this World Cup. Let's not forget, what was it, 3 weeks ago in their opening game of the tournament, they lost 2-1 to Saudi Arabia. I remember being on Sky Sports News and presenters like you, Ed, asking me every hour, is this the biggest shock in football? Is this the biggest shock in sport? Saudi Arabia beating Argentina. And what I said at the time was, I said, remember in 1990, Italy World Cup, Argentina, the world champions, first game, they lost to Cameroon, but they still made it all the way to the final. Although on that occasion, they lost to Germany in the final. So they've had to do it the hard way. Every game for Argentina at this World Cup has been a knockout game because Saudi Arabia, they lost that game. The next game against Mexico, they had to win that game. Poland, they had to win that game. Australia, they had to win that game. Netherlands, they had to win that game. Croatia, they had to win that game. Tonight, they had to win that game. So it hasn't been plain sailing for Lionel Messi or Argentina. But you mentioned Cristiano Ronaldo. I think this tournament was set up for Lionel Messi. The team his teammates all work for him, the amount of pressing they do, the work they put in to try and win the World Cup. Incredible. Even if you watch them train, the intensity they train at is totally different from other teams. And as far as Ronaldo is concerned, yes, of course, he's one of the greatest players of all time, but this was not his World Cup. He came into this World Cup under that cloud, giving that hugely controversial interview. His contract was terminated by Manchester United. He was dropped to the bench by Portugal as well. Total contrast to the kind of World Cup that Lionel Messi has had. I don't want to denigrate Cristiano Ronaldo or kick him when he's down. Of course, he's one of the greatest players ever. But this World Cup belongs to Lionel Messi and it belongs to Argentina.
Absolutely. The new Messi, a leader, Carve. South American journalists of Final Thought have reflected upon the fact that this Messi, not like 2014 when Javier Mascherano was leading the team talks, this Messi has been a leader, not only what he does, but what he says to the players, the focal figure he is.
Yeah, I think actually he leads by example. If you watch him in games, if you watch the games live, not on TV, you can actually spend a lot of time just focusing on Lionel Messi. And he doesn't really talk a lot. He doesn't really run a lot unless he needs to. A lot of the time he's just walking around. But 1 minute you're thinking to yourself, what is he doing? He's not doing anything. Why is he just ambling around in the centre circle? And then immediately he gets the ball, he makes something happen. Seconds later, Argentina have scored. When it comes to his leadership qualities, I think he leads by example. He leads by his aura, just because of what he has achieved in the game. He's an icon of Argentina. You can only guess at what it feels like for some of these young Argentinian players to play with a legend like Lionel Messi. One final point I would make as well is if you look at Argentina's starting 11, all their players play outside Argentina. They play in Europe. All these players, they've had to leave home at a very young age. They've had to cross the Atlantic, come to Europe, try and make a career for themselves as footballers, and this has been their ultimate prize. Quite an incredible story for Argentina to win this World Cup in the way that they have, and for Lionel Messi to finally lift this trophy. Especially if you think it's hard being an England fan, imagine what it's like being an Argentinian fan. I think it's been something like 36 years of hurt. 3 World Cup finals that they've lost on the spin. Everything that they've had to put up with, the fact that all their best players leave Argentina and go and play in Europe, and the fact that people have kept saying, yeah, well, Messi's a great player, he's a great player, but the greatest of all time. No, he's got to win the World Cup. Well, all those Argentinians have shut the rest of the world up tonight, including me, because Lionel Messi has done it. Surely now we have to admit he is the greatest footballer ever. With apologies to Diego Maradona and Pelé and Alfredo Di Stefano and George Best and Johan Cruyff and Cristiano Ronaldo and all.
There's been a lot of good ones, Carve Solocol. We appreciate that summary. We appreciate you tearing yourself away from that moment as well. Thank you for now. Carve Solocol outside the Lusail Stadium, where Lionel Messi is currently celebrating with his children and being a world champion at last to cap a spectacular career. He scored 2 goals in the match and a penalty in the shootout as well. Despite Kylian Mbappe's hat-trick, Argentina have won the World Cup for the first time since 1986 in the Maradona final that thrilled us then. But these are the scenes in Buenos Aires as Argentina win the World Cup for a 3rd time. 3-3 against France in normal time, 4-2 in the penalty shootout. It's approaching mid-afternoon there. It's going to be a brilliant afternoon, evening and night to come. Argentina world champions. The reaction continues next here with Mike Wedderburn on Sky Sports News.